Here I am in my hotel room. All right. Here I'm in Atlanta right now. This is David. But I'm really excited about this podcast to chat with a couple people that have been doing some really creative work. So I'm in Atlanta. Sally Wolf has been somebody that I've been had the privilege to know for about 6 or 7 years, and she's been a great supporter of CP. Probably half of you listening to this podcast know Sally one way or another. And Sally and I had a conversation about a month ago or 2 months ago, and she told me about this really cool project that she and Diane Shishk, who I'm just gotten to know, just meeting, we're working on. And so I said, hey, well, just a couple of days ago, I said, hey, how's it going? And let's do a podcast about this because there's a lot of creativity here. So thank you both for coming on here.
Thanks, David. Great to be here.
Great. This is not formal, trust me. All right. This is just we're learning. And when we talked on the phone like a month ago, that's the way it felt to me. I was like, that's really cool. What are you doing? What are you doing? So which one of you wants to kind of tell the story of what you're doing specifically?
I guess I'll tell the story, Sally. Shall I start?
Okay. Yeah, you start.
Okay, great. So I've been working on climate change for many years, right? In the climate emergency, get our governments to do meaningful things. And the US is such a big player, and we haven't played that big a role. And one of the worst things that we did was elect Donald Trump to be president and then pull out of the Paris Agreement and have 4 years of inaction and of rescinding the good steps that the Obama administration and other administrations had taken. So I am super committed to working toward not having Donald Trump have another 4 years in office. And thrilled that Kamala Harris is our candidate, somebody with a known track record around climate action. So I tried to think of what can I with my networks of friends do? If this is my key issue right now, what can I do? And so, I talked to some
you started this actually when Biden was the nominee, right? Because
yes. Oh, absolutely. We started this project, I think it was like in May.
Okay.
So Biden was the nominee. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were rightly concerned that not everybody was going to be enthusiastic about him, and so you were looking for other avenues, right?
Exactly.
To excite people, sure.
Yeah, exactly. I knew that that there were going to be people that normally would vote in an election, but were pissed off enough at Biden that they weren't going to come out. At least that's what it looked like in May. And so that was the key thing I focused on is, okay, how do we reach those voters? And specifically, a lot of the same people who were pissed off at Biden, they care about climate change. And I thought they could be reached with the message that we have to, whether or not you're aligned with this administration around every issue, they're taking action on climate change. So let's vote on the basis of climate change and because if we get Donald Trump, these are 4 very critical years. So 2028 is too late to put somebody in office that's going to take action around climate. We need somebody now, no matter what the Biden administration is doing on other issues. And also, no matter what the Biden administration is doing on other issues, they're doing better than what the Trump administration would do. So let's vote climate, people. Let's vote climate. So that's where the initial idea came from. And I decided we'd have this project, we needed some kind of slogan. I must have talked to 20 people to get feedback on the language and, what's going to reach people. So we came up with 2028 is too late.
Let's see that again. 2028 is too late. Okay. And had you looked around to see like what other, because there's tons of environmental organizations, right?
Yep.
And did you just not have a connection to them and you just felt like I kind of wanted to do this myself, or did you see like a gap out there?
Well, there was a Vote Climate organization 4 years ago and 8 years ago, and it vanished. I don't know what happened to it.
Okay.
But I looked for them and I tried to make contact with them and they weren't there. And I'm in touch with quite a few climate organizations and nobody was specifically focusing on Vote Climate. To be honest, sort of the situation in Palestine has really split the climate organization and caused a lot of disarray around that issue. So I thought, okay, so let's wade in there. There's lots of people also looking at other ways to get Biden, Harris, whoever it is at this point, Harris, elected. But nobody seemed to be focusing on the climate aspect, except for now I've learned about a few other projects that are. Of course, the Environmental Voter Project, but not from specifically this angle. So, I talked to Sally. We came up with the original sticker design and then got some other designs and have been circulating them in our networks for months now.
Okay, so you decided to come up with stickers. You thought stickers, like
Yeah.
stickers to put on the car, stickers to put on a skateboard, stickers to put on a laptop. Is that what these are?
Yeah. And but in a way, the sticker was an excuse to have something to hand to people and to
Okay.
start a conversation. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Somebody calling me. We didn't think that just putting stickers out anywhere is going to change anybody's minds, but conversations are powerful. And so we wanted to have something that we could use to talk to people and generate an interesting conversation and then leave them with it. And
Okay.
then they'd still have the sticker long after we were gone.
Okay. Okay. So Sally, Diane has this idea, and so how do you get involved?
I'm one of the 20 people that she called and said, "What do you think about this?" And she showed me the bumper sticker, and I'm like, "Diane, I really like it." And the more we talked, the more I understood that this is not a project to try and reach voters. This is a project to reach reluctant voters or voters who aren't sure they're going to vote because of some issue that's in their way. They don't like there's something they don't like about the campaign and they're not going to vote. But this is an opportunity to reach people with a conversation that if you care about the climate, you could vote for good climate policy, whether you really agree with everything the candidate is putting out there. So when Diane showed me the bumper sticker, and it's really great. This was our first one. We have others now. We'll show them to you in a second. But this was the first one. And we had big ones for a car. And then I think it was you, David, or maybe it was Lou Friedland. Anyway, somebody said you need small ones so we can put them on our laptops and our water bottles.
Yeah.
So we've moved super fast with this. Like what we've created, right, Diane, in the last 6 weeks is really pretty incredible. And so we had big stickers, now we have little stickers, and then we talked with you and with others, and you said we need a social media presence and you need better stickers. So we hired PR firm, we hired Pyramid, who have done just a remarkable job for us. And we've come up with new stickers, and they helped us revamp our website, which is a treasure trove of information for anybody who's trying to take this idea of reaching people who care about the climate and want to vote for good climate policy. If you want to take it into your organization, there's a toolkit on the website. There's a treasure trove of information there.
What's the web address, Sally?
Go ahead, Diane.
2028 is too late.org. Hold up this sticker, Sally, one of the stickers with the QR code, sorry.
Okay. I'm going to show it here.
Oh, okay.
2028 is too late. Commit to being a climate voter. 2028 is too late. And so who built this, by the way? Was this Pyramid or did you two build it?
We built the original website, which was pretty homemade, and then Pyramid took it and converted it into this slick, beautiful website.
Okay. So it's a place where people can get more information. They can get stickers, of course, but there's also, I love the talking points piece here. And okay, so 2028 is too late.org. All right, so that comes along like about what, 6 weeks ago or something, the web page?
No, I think it's been it was the beginning of the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love this. So let me stop here and say that Common Power as an organization made a decision at the beginning back in 2018 that we were going to intentionally not identify particular issue domains as our point of focus. That voting was our collective focus, common power. And that we were going to stay focused on voting, and we would support candidates who support democracy and voting. And we weren't going to be litmus testing on various issues. And over time, with the Dobbs decision and the loss of Roe v. Wade, and the near consensus among people who are center left or far left on issues of reproductive rights, that issue has clearly become one that it would be hard for us to support a candidate who was not pro reproductive rights. It would be hard to. But we still don't like give a questionnaire to candidates or anything like that. And we've had internal disagreements in the organization about supporting some candidates because they're not X or Y. So when I talked to you two, it was important for me to be able to have a certain integrity about what common power could do or would do, because climate has certainly been an issue that many people have pushed us to make as a centerpiece of our body of work. This is a big issue in Seattle, all right, the Northwest. And so we've had a very clear boundary around that. But we love when someone says to us, this is the issue that we really care about. I mean, we care about voting rights, of course, but we're really, 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 really down in the weeds on this issue. And we're happy to kind of like extend our network and our connections and our thoughts and our trials and errors to everybody on this. And I would say 5% of people maybe actually take us up on that. All right. They kind of say like, oh, you don't want to take this up, then forget it. All right. They don't have the own initiative. They kind of wanted to hand it off to us. Right. And that wasn't the case. So when I had my first conversation with you two, I was like, that was kind of my filter I had when I talked to you. It's like, we're not taking this on. We can't. Okay. This isn't on point directly, although we love it, but it can't be centered. But what I heard right off the bat was, we're not looking for common power to take this on. We are going to do this. We're just looking for any thoughts, any advice, any suggestions. And so at the most basic level, I am fundamentally moved by just the energy you've brought to this. Okay. The reality is that I think that karmically, that when we start to do good work and we try to do things, that it actually has a ripple effect in a variety of ways. All right. So where are you at in this enterprise, this 2028 is too late enterprise? What exactly are you doing at this point?
Well, I would say we're doing two things. And one is we really believe in one-on-one conversations. And like yesterday, I ran into my letter carrier and I said, hey, I got something for you. And I offered him a sticker. And he said, I might not be voting for the candidate you're pushing. And I said, who are you voting for? And then we get into this conversation. I said, look, we've got plenty of time to talk about this, but look at our website and see what you think, because I know he cares about the climate. And I was up near the Lemmy Reservation over the weekend, and I went into the bookstore on the reservation and talked to the woman who was behind the counter, and she had all these free stickers there, the stickers you had to pay for. And, Diane, we haven't mentioned yet that our stickers are free. And
okay.
And so I said, I've got some stickers you might be interested in. And she loved them. And I showed her how to order them and get the stickers and the postcard. And I said, I'll check in with you next week, see how it worked. But we're really interested in reaching reluctant voters. And she said, we have a lot of reluctant voters up here.
Yeah.
And I said, well, maybe just starting a conversation and offering somebody a sticker might be some way to reach them. So that's one of the things that we're doing. But the other thing we're doing is next week, Diane's heading to New York City for Climate Week. And she's just got this huge, exciting way of taking our project to people who are going to be showing up in New York. And Diane, maybe you want to talk about that.
So, okay, I want to hear about that in just one quick second though. But do you thrive on those one-on-one conversations? Like is that like an energizer thing for you too?
Yeah. Well, to be perfectly honest, I'm actually kind of shy. And so it's the sticker. You know, I'm not sure I would talk to that person if I didn't have a sticker, but it's sort of like when you're walking your dog, you know, it's easier to say hi to people if you have a dog or a child
Totally.
or something. And the sticker kind of helps. People like them. This is a heavy, heavy topic. This is not an easy topic to broach with people, to think about. People are discouraged, you know, but these are fabulous, upbeat, kind of fun stickers, and people are attracted to them. So I think that's kind of what helps, David.
I love that because it also is an entree to people your letter carrier who you don't really know probably super well, but you see them
Yeah,
around, right? And you
yeah,
say hi.
yeah.
Or somebody you've never met in a store before, but it doesn't feel weird for you to say like, hi, where you can't walk in and start talking politics. That feels weird,
Right, you
right?
can't.
But you can walk in and say, hey, I like your stickers. I got stickers. Let's talk stickers, right?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And if somebody is energized by that space, then I don't really think you need to measure this in like how many voters you change minds on or move on. There's an energy that comes from those kinds of conversations that is intrinsically valuable. And I think that like we got to find those little maneuvers or mechanisms that allow us to basically enter into the space of feeling empowered and alive. All right. And that's not what you're thinking about when you're creating the stickers, but that is the
No.
human dimension that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're also looking for larger maximal impact. Okay. There are,
Right. We're looking for people to vote who might
yeah.
not otherwise vote. And to remember that the climate needs our vote. And how do you communicate that? And it's not so easy, but it turns out it's easier when you have a sticker.
So I don't know what Climate Week is. Okay, Diane.
Before we talk about Climate Week, let me talk about the Northwest Folklife Festival.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, that's good.
Because that's the first place where the first kind of big event that we distributed our stickers at. And I've about a 3 foot, one of those bumper stickers she showed. I made one about 3 feet long. And actually, Sally and a couple of us walked around with this giant bumper sticker, and it's on the back, it said free stickers. And so we walked around, and, you know, everybody looks at you. You're giving away free stickers, and quite a few people. I mean, we were almost never without talking to somebody.
Hmm.
People are like, oh, I want one of those. And then start talking to you about, well, my son would love this sticker, or I want to give this to my friend because, you know, they would not love this sticker and I want to use this to talk to them about it. So we'd hear lots of stories. And so we gave them away all three, you know, all three days of Folklife Festival anyway. I don't think we tracked how many we gave away. But our main way of distributing stickers so far is through networks of people that I know. And so far, I have about 600 people that have distributed stickers or are distributing them in an ongoing way. So
Yeah.
they'll give out what they've got and then they'll order another 20. Or sometimes people order 100 because there's a big climate event coming up, or they go to the food. What do people like to go to the farmers markets are very popular places to hand out free stickers for people, or churches, or so people are there's a whole network of people that are handing them out that we're in touch with over email.
Hmm.
And then so that when we revised the sticker, you know, we sent out a whole big thing about we now have a new sticker and we have a new website and da 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 da. And but we have so many stories that people I should have collected a few for this, but people love handing them out. They spark such interesting conversations for people. It's not like a lot of people like they really dread door knocking or cold calls and stuff like that, but it's not. It's this beautiful sticker that you're offering to people, and that intrigues them. And it, it hasn't been hard for people to distribute them and to get people talking and have really interesting conversations. Um, and so I'm going to Climate Week anyway with another organization. We go every year because it's the biggest climate conference these days in the US. And we put on presentations at Climate Week, but there's always a march associated with Climate Week.
Hmm.
And this year it's a couple days before. It's sponsored by Fridays for Future, which is a group of a lot of younger people who are totally committed to climate change, but a lot of them are in this category, are in the disengaged voter category or the unengaged voter category. So I contacted the organizers, and they're happy to have me distribute them at the march and
Okay.
at the rally. So we'll have a big spread
Ah,
with big signs, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and get your free stickers. To take as many as you would use, or if your organization is interested, we'll supply your organization. Your organization wants to announce it, we'll do the distribution. All you guys have to do is say they're available. So we're trying these different ways to get them out. And that'll be next weekend.
so at that march, are you going to have like a booth, or are you going to be standing kind of in the street and handing them out?
At the march, so we'll be at the rally, and
Uh-huh.
we'll have either a table or we'll have a blanket on the ground. We'll do something. So we'll be stationary probably for about an hour, the length of a rally, about an hour, just handing them out. And we'll have people walk around with like sandwich boards, with the free stickers, with packs of stickers. And then we'll actually march, and people will have packets, and they'll be handing them out. That I've got, let's see. Oh, should I get it? Yeah, I'll get it. What the heck?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm glad to hear that you're going to have people walking around with the sandwich boards, because at these kind of public events, when you're just stationary, you're only getting the people that come to you, right? Whereas most people aren't going to make it there. So they're going to walk around with this kind of a sandwich board thing.
Yeah, this is one side, and the other side is the giant original Vote Climate. These are our yard signs that we haven't yet distributed all of them.
Okay.
So people doing that.
You know, I think there's like this, I love this. Okay. One of the things that we hear consistently from the partner organizations that we do when we travel to a state, to Raleigh, North Carolina, or to Houston, Texas, and so on and so on, what we hear from our organizations that we work with is what a kind of shot in the arm in a positive way it is to have some people come in from out of town and bring energy and care about the place. So you're engaged in an issue community that cares about climate and the environment, which is much larger than the activists. But the people who are active in it also need encouragement, and they don't find that too often. They're expected to provide it to others, like they give it out to others, the energy they're trying to organize or convince or persuade or mobilize. And so I think your stickers, because they're beautiful, and I want to ask you about the design in a second here, because they're beautiful, because you also seem very zen about like this, like, hey, we just want to be in the fight. All right, we just want to contribute to this. Like, I can see how there's like when you hand them a sticker, there's a human connection with them, and then they say thank you, and then they look at the sticker, right, and they're like intrigued, and they walk away, and they're like, this is beautiful. And it's just one of those, what I call kind of like a positive deposit in the bank account of everybody, right? It's a deposit in the bank account. And those of us that do regular work in the civic and political space absolutely need people to be making those deposits with us. We need them to come alongside and just like send you the email and say how happy somebody is with your work or something like this. It makes so much of a difference. And so you're not only saying this, your beautiful stickers, I think, also kind of strike at a different kind of level for people too. So I see the tangible impacts of this in multiple ways: human interactions, one-on-one, an encouragement and uplift, your own sense of fulfillment and engagement, the network you're connected to. You're going to get some people to vote, okay, too, based upon. So like these are all significant impacts. And it all just started because you felt a desire to do this. That's really cool.
Yep. Yep.
So where did you design the stickers, the two of you?
Well, we asked Pyramid to give us a hand because we wanted it to go bigger. It was going big very quickly, and it was kind of out of our league. We didn't quite know how to grow it. And you and Lou Friedland both told us that we needed a social media presence, and we don't have the technical skills to be able to do that. And I know John Hoyt and others over there at Pyramid, and I got in touch with them and said, can you help us? And they said, sure. And very, very quickly, they put an incredible team on this, and they started designing new stickers. And there was plenty of back and forth of drafts and colors and picking color boards. And, there's a tremendous amount of thought and skill that goes into creating stickers, even though you think it's just a sticker. This really, there's a lot of expertise here, and they have it on their staff. And so we came up with these designs, and then Diane and another friend of ours, Kathy, who's graphic designer and very skilled at printing and all the things that I don't know anything about, was incredibly helpful. And I think I'll just say, David, that part of what's been so thrilling about this is the teamwork, that Diane and I just check in with each other a lot. We have different skills, but we like each other, and we're really proud of each other. I'm really proud of her, and I think she's proud of me for various reasons.
And
and we kind of bring that out in each other.
Were you collaborating on things before this?
On and off over the years, yeah. But she called me up and said, do you like this design? And I said, yeah. And she said, you want to do this with me? And I'm like, sure. And that was that. And I did say to you, Diane, that I was all in. This wasn't going to be just a one-day thing or a fly-by-night thing. I wanted to be part of this. If you were looking for someone to be on your team, I wanted to be on your team. And I think that made a big difference too, David.
And have you two just foot the bill for all of this? Have you paid for all of this from your own personal monies?
We've done some fundraising and gotten other donors involved as well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And so you give the stickers away. You're not selling them to anybody.
That's right.
What if an organization said, we want 500,000 of these to give out at, you would probably ask them to cover some costs. I mean, because that's a lot.
And I quickly contact other people I know who had some money if they wanted to help out.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet, but
we would love it to happen.
Right. We'll deal with that.
Yeah. Have you gone outside of the Northwest with your personal engagement or with your networks?
Yes. It's nationwide.
Okay. Have you noticed anything different? Has there been anything notably different in your interactions or conversations or energy when you kind of moved out of the Northwest?
Hadn't noticed.
No.
Yeah. Everybody that's engaged is so committed to ending the climate crisis and looking for more tools to help them engage more people in that. And this is a tool. I think all of us know that we don't have enough people yet who are working to end the climate crisis in this country. And this is a tool not only about voting, but to increase our base, right? To increase people's knowledge and understanding that 2028 is too late. I think a lot of people don't know that we're in a situation where we have to do something in the next few years. So we're really looking at a bad situation for the world in the future. And so it's a very educational tool, and it's been a good outreach tool for people to help them build their bases, their networks.
Democracy for common power. We are very comfortable saying that if we don't win this presidential election, and if we don't get some new voting rights, national legislation, that the democracy that we'd like to believe we have is going to end. Okay, so our focus there is on democracy and voting. And when you talk about 2028 being too late for climate, and I want to kind of close up the podcast with this. Why is 2028 too late?
Yeah. So the climate scientists who are really sort of looking at what needs to happen globally to end the climate crisis, they talk about keeping the global temperature increase below a certain level.
Hmm.
And we are very, very close to passing the level that we can come back from.
Oh, wow.
Right. It's already too warm. You can see in many places around the world, there, the droughts, the floods, the storms, the things that people are being impacted terribly already. And we're already sort of locked into a certain amount of increase in temperature because all the greenhouse gases we've put in the atmosphere, they're up there now, but their effect won't still be felt until years into the future. So we not only need to cut the emissions now, we need to draw down some of what we've put up there, or the world is going to overheat and cause these climate catastrophes that we're not prepared for. And so one of the movements that's involves a young people's movement called the Sunrise Movement. And I remember buying
Yeah.
their T-shirt about 5 years ago that said, 11 years, something 11 years left, right? And so they're talking about the same thing, that we're in this window of opportunity where there are still things that we know how to do, that we can do, that would change this situation. But once that window closes, and we've emitted a certain amount of gases into the atmosphere, then we don't really know what to do. And it gets a lot more expensive. We'll have to try things that are experimental, that will have impacts on huge populations that we don't want to have to do. We want to control the temperature, solving this problem, and not just start winging it. This is not a good one to wing.
And have you both been long time involved in fighting for climate awareness and education and change?
I have, yeah, sadly too.
Okay. Um, is this so last question? I think I don't know if it's really my last one, but I think it's my last one. Is this project that you're doing right now, is this a deviation from things you've done early in your long kind of successful bodies of work? Or is this kind of like one of a larger, longer arc and pattern?
Sally?
Um, I think this is one of many things that I've been interested in and challenged by, and that's a challenge for me personally, and feels like a risk. Like when we started this, we didn't really know where it was going, and you can't predict that, but we wanted to do it anyway. And I've been involved with Save Our Wild Salmon and trying to get the dams on the lower Snake River taken down so that the salmon can swim home, and that's key to climate issues there. And all you have to do is sort of poke your head out of the sand and look around, and it's not too hard to find something to latch onto. The idea of getting people to actually vote for the climate was thrilling to me, and we're just throwing this out there and hoping that people who know the history, about the climate emergency, and people who just sort of have a thought about it or a hint about it, that it'll reach them and intrigue them.
Yeah. And for me, I spent 20 years as a civil rights attorney doing disability rights law,
Mhm.
which was, a wonderful era in the US, to sort of coming into understanding the importance of the rights of disabled people, Section 504, the Americans with Disabilities Act. And then I've been involved in the women's movement, anti-racism work, that kind of thing. And then about 15 years ago, I really understood at that point what the climate emergency was.
Hmm.
And so since then, that's been really the focus of my life's work.
Hmm. Well, thank you both for the work you're doing and also for enlightening me about kind of your journey and your process here. And uh, I love entrepreneurial civic engagement. All right. I love it. Like Common Power is fundamentally an organization that is just a startup. That's what it is. It's a startup. And we have always thought of ourselves as the goal was to become the Apple Store of civics. Okay, where people could come in, learn about things, perhaps see how a technology, in our case, a certain kind of methodology in the civic arena might make a difference. And then, maybe they want to buy something or in our case, get engaged with something. Um, it's always just been like, let's just try this thing. Let's see. And I believe that energy of trying is far more important than we actually think it is. It's far more important. It is the determination to try. All right. And I don't have any doubt that there's multiple impacts of what you're doing. And so I appreciate it. And I know that in the connections that I have with this guy, Lou Friedland, who you've mentioned, Sally, from Wisconsin, who is doing some really great work around lower engaged voters too. The reality is that he's involved in like a trial process too, like trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. And we can either look at these voters and say, something's wrong with you. Why don't you get more engaged? Or we're just never going to have anything to connect on. Or we can try to shrink the distance somehow. And that's what your stickers are trying to do. And they're beautiful and they're lovely. And you've put time and energy, what we call time and treasure, into it. And it's all driving the same way. Like we got to win. We got to win this election. But we have to. We have to win.
We have
And then
to.
and then no matter what happens this time, we got to keep fighting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you both so much for spending a half hour here talking about it. And everybody else who's listening to this podcast, if you're interested in the stickers, 2028 is too late.org is the web page, is the website. I've interacted with Sally and Diane enough to know that if you have interest in getting holds of some of those stickers, they'll probably drive them to your house. All right. They'll be glad to. And like that's the kind of like do-itness, can do-itness that we need. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, David. This was such a treat.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. And we're not exactly sure this is going to run in a couple days because we're going to talk about the debate for another day or two, but our schedules weren't going to line up. So I wanted to make sure we got this done. So it'll run in the next couple days. Thank you both so much, Diane and Sally.
Yeah, and thank you, David. And I really love learning more about Common Power and just sort of the understanding of what's involved here. And I think we're all reaching out to people from different angles and growing the body of people who understand what's really at stake here and can take action about it. So love being in this with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Thank you. See you later, Sally.
All right. Have fun in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Bye.
for sure. Bye-bye.